Good evening. Welcome to this update on what has been happening in the district over the last 2 months. And this is going to be a regular thing that we do as district leaders to share with the members of our district the different activities that have been happening and where we are as a district. And before we get started, as we wait for anybody who might be still trying to join, let's do a simple word game, and it's called Are You an Idiom Savant? Sorry to start off with already a word of the day, a savant. A savant, I think, means someone who is some kind of genius. And let us go through these words to see how well you know your idioms. We could start off with which of these animals is also an expression for a valueless gift? When someone gives a valueless gift, what do you say that they have given? Any idea? Have they given a white blue whale, a black cat, a white elephant, or a red herring? Anyone wants to give it a shot?
Again, there are many rumors about jostling for position underneath Putin, but we simply don't have fully accurate.
Anyone?
A white elephant?
Yes, Mercy. It's actually a white elephant. When you give someone a valueless gift, that gift is called a white elephant. What about a salad days? What are salad days typically? Salad days typically refer to a time when a person is losing weight, retired, strapped for cash, or inexperienced. What do you think? Any guesses? The answer to that is inexperience. When you're having a salad day, it's a day where you are inexperienced in what you are supposed to be doing on that day. The next one is someone that has a lot of angry thoughts might want to vent which organ? Someone is venting which organ when they have a lot of angry thoughts? Any ideas?
Throat.
Throat. To vent their throat. Pick one of the ones that are on this slide. That person
Spleen.
might want to vent their spleen. The spleen is the right answer. For which of these occasions might someone be said to wear sackcloth and ashes? I think this is a very easy one. For which of these occasions might someone be said to wear sackcloth and ashes? Ashes on their head.
Making a public apology.
Absolutely, making a public apology. The sword of Damocles is often referenced when discussing which of the following. The sword of Damocles is often referred to when discussing which of the following. A superstitions, an impending doom, a logical explanation, or a cure for all. Any brave guesses?
An impending disaster.
Absolutely. It feels like there's a sword above your head. Yeah, when there's an impending disaster. The term winning hands down originates from what sport? I'm sure most of us used this idiom. In which sport does this idiom originate from? Golf, horse racing, billiards, or karate? When you win hands down. Any attempts? It is actually horse racing, and it comes from the fact that as the jockey, because if the jockey is doing pretty well in the horse in the race, they don't need to keep their hands positioned in a particular way. They can just ride the horse with their hands down, and that means they have won like with a great margin. Which of these places is most likely to be described as being at sixes and sevens? A factory assembly, an exclusive country club, a trendy bar, or a messy home office?
Trendy bar.
Unfortunately, it's actually a messy home office. When something is messy, it is described to be at sixes and sevens.
Mamadou doesn't have a speech time or the pathways as the
And now it is often used in sports to refer to a pass, but dropping a dime can also refer to which of the following activities: snitching, making a wish, borrowing money, or street racing? When you say someone is dropping a dime, absolutely snitching. It comes from the fact that back in the days, you needed to use a payphone and you would use a dime in it to call the police and snitch on the people around you. A wedding reception guest that has a laugh up their sleeve most likely spilled a drink on themselves, takes home extra food, secretly finds something funny, or tells the same anecdote frequently.
Secretly find something funny.
That is correct. They secretly find something funny. Which of these phrases originates from old flintlock musket misfiring? Flash in the pan, cold shoulder, spill the beans, or bite the bullet? I can help you with this. It's definitely not spill the beans.
Bite the bullet.
The answer is actually flash in the pan, because when the flintlock misfires, there's a huge flash, but there's no bullet that comes out. It usually means something that was initially promising, but it did not pan out in the end. Which of these expressions comes from the act of securing one's clothes before a physical activity? Guard your loins, go pear-shaped, lower the boom, or gild the lily? Which one do you think?
Guard your loins.
Guard your loins, absolutely. I think it comes from the Bible. A person who likes to saw dragon's teeth probably excels at which activity? Growing plants, baking pies, making trouble, or fixing clothes?
Making trouble.
Making trouble, absolutely. A four-flasher is someone likely to do which of the following? Lie to your face, spend a lot of time in the restroom, share an embarrassing story, or perform ballet?
Spend a lot of time in the restroom.
Flashing 4 times or 5 times.
Lie
Actually,
to
I really thought at first, but it is actually someone who lies to your face is a four-flasher,
I thought they just flash 4 times.
right? Yeah. If your cousin says there will be wigs on the green at the family reunion, you should expect which of the following: a string quartet, fancy clothes, a fight, or excellent food.
A fight.
Absolutely a fight. And it comes from back when men used to wear wigs. And so if there's a fight, you're going to see wigs strewn all over the place. Finally, which of these people is most likely to trip the light fantastic? Trip the light fantastic. A ship captain, a politician, an electrician, or a dancer?
A politician.
A politician, any other attempt?
A ship captain.
No, not a ship captain, but a dancer. Trip the light fantastic refers to someone actually dancing at at an event or something like that. And so those are idioms that you can consider using in your speech, and I think they're going to spice it up quite a bit. And so let's get right into the purpose of this evening. And this is someone who tripped the light fantastic at the Olympic. And I think we all know who she is by now. I think her name is Ray Gunn. I remember the first time I saw her videos online of her performing the break dancing. I was like, I can actually do this. I was thinking maybe I start planning how I'm going to go to Los Angeles as the breakdancing representative for Kenya. And I could completely see myself, if that is a kind of talent that was at the Olympic in terms of breakdancing, I completely saw myself being good at it if I put in some effort over the next, I don't know, is it 4 years? Over the next 4 years, I put in efforts. I learned how to break dance. I could make it to the Olympics if I was comparing myself to her. And I think that kind of thinking usually extends to other things that we are ambitious about. And most of us in Toastmasters want to be great public speakers in future, want to be great leaders. And so often when we see a great public speaker, someone who is good at it, or even when we see someone who's not pretty good at it, we can imagine that we can, by putting in the work, we can actually one day become great public speakers. And as I was reflecting on these kind of assumptions that we sometimes have about the effort that is needed to become good, or the effort that is needed to become great at an endeavor that we are pursuing, I thought about the finish line at the Olympics for the 100 meters. At the bottom here, is it on the 6th lane or on the 7th lane, you see the person who won that race, and next to him on the 6th lane, you see the person who came out last. I think that person was last. And that is a small amount of distance. That is a small amount of time. But when you think about it, the person at the very end was putting in their maximum effort. In addition to this, a lot of people who were good at running the 100-meter race made it to the Olympics. However, there was only a few great people and only one great person who managed to win it. And it reminds me of something that Will Smith said, is that we usually underestimate the difference between good and great. We feel that if you're good at something, if I put in just a little bit of more effort, I might actually become great. However, to become great at something, to be able to run and achieve that extra millisecond or that extra second lower in terms of time takes a lot of dedication, a lot of focus over a long period of time, and you need to prepare yourself mentally to be able to become great at whatever thing. And so you cannot be 50-50. Just a second. You cannot be 50-50 and hope to achieve the ambitions and hope to achieve that you are pursuing as an individual. Your ambition will require you to go beyond. Your ambition will remain beyond your reach if you keep approaching your public speaking and your leadership journey 50-50. For you to get what you desire in your life, you need to be all out in. You need to put in 100% of your effort towards your public speaking, towards your leadership, in order to become the great leader that is going to make a difference in the countries that we are represented, the great public speaker that is going to make a difference with their public speaking and their delivery. And our job as a district is to create the kind of environment where your 100%, the 100% that you're giving in your club is going to have a bang. It's going to have a great impact. And the three major areas that we usually focus on as a district, and these are membership payments, club growth, and DCP goals. So I'll go over the state of the district at the moment in terms of all those three, and then we'll have a question and answer period. I'll finish off with some leadership development opportunities that we've created, and finally we'll close this session. We hope to be done by 8 p.m. on the dot. So let's start with membership payments. And the reason this is one of the goals that we have as a district is because it measures whether our members are getting value when they join our clubs. If our members are getting value, they are going to keep renewing their membership. However, if they find that during the last 6 months, they have not grown as public speakers, you'll find it difficult for our clubs to renew. Also, if we are providing value, the guests that visit our clubs are going to be willing to join those clubs. Another thing about membership payment is that when you have enough members in your club, you'll find it is easy to fill the roles. It is easy for the club leaders to run that club. It is easy to have leaders who are going to take up leadership roles. As of August, we have received 251 payments. These are people who have paid their membership fees. And this 251 represents 5.4% of what we need in order to be smedley distinguished by the end of the year. We need 4,398 payments by the end of this Toastmasters year. In terms of how well we did in August, because if you think about the big picture, it might not be easy to tell whether we are on track or not. In August, we needed to have 216 payments in order to be on track to be smedley distinguished by the end of this year. And as I said, we received 251, and so we are slightly ahead of the curve. So where did these 251 payments come from? 110 of them were from renewals, and these are members who paid their dues for October. And about 14 of them actually paid for April as well. So we have 110 renewals. We also received 91 new members over the last 2 months. These are people who joined existing clubs. And finally, we chartered 2 clubs in the course of the last 2 months, and those brought in 50 payments to become a total of 251 1. At this point, I would like to congratulate the clubs that have put in a great amount of effort towards building their membership, towards attracting new members to their clubs. We have UBL Toastmasters, which attracted 10 new members to their club. Ntinda added 9, SmartSpeak 6, Mtandao 5, Jupiter 5, Sema 4, Tamarind and Tres as well 4, Anchored, Mombasa Island and Dar 3, The Hill, Magnetic, DiploSpeak, Kwanza, Nyali Toastmasters, Radisson ACA, CamSpeak, Bongo Toastmasters, and Elevated Speakers Toastmasters all added 2 members over the last 2 months. We would like to congratulate you, and this demonstrates the effort that the members of your EXCO have put in towards building, adding the number of people in your club. Like I said, there are 3 categories of new members, and so we need to cater to the needs of each of these. And for the members who have renewed, those 110, we hope over the next 1 year to motivate them to keep being active in the club and to keep taking up roles, to keep delivering speeches. And that is why we have the All-In Award that we are going to be giving out every 2 months. And that award is going to be based on a tracker, based on the attendance of the member, based on the number of speeches they've delivered, and also based on the roles that they've taken up. For the new members, those 91 of them, we need to orient them. We need to help them get comfortable in the Toastmasters education program. And over these last 2 months, the CGD has conducted a new member orientation. In addition to that, we are going to recognize the All-In Club of these past 2 months. And this is going to focus on the new member experience. We are going to send out a survey to all the members in our district to survey how the guests are treated in terms of whether they're treated warmly and how the new members are oriented and integrated into the club. And those that are doing well in our district are going to be recognized in each of the division. Finally, for the charter club members, we need to provide training to we have provided training to the sponsors and mentors to help those club members become a part of Toastmasters. Because you see, when you're a member of a chartered club, you do not have other experienced members in that club who can help you along your journey. And so you need outside help. We also hope that the area directors are going to be providing constant reports on the progress that these new clubs are making. And so that is how we hope that we're going to cater to these 3 categories of payments. In September, because we are in the renewal period, we need to receive 1,167, and in October, 429. This is what we project to receive over the next 2 months. And this, for a club, it represents you being able to retain the members that you received at the beginning of your term. And the importance of these numbers to you as club officers and as members is that these are the people who we can best help to receive value over the next 1 year, because we are starting off with them. If we keep them with us, we will be able to know their goals, meet their needs over the next 1 month, and they're going to make our lives as club officers much easier and our clubs much more vibrant. And so I would encourage us to put in the maximum effort during this renewal period, follow up to your members to help them renew their membership. In addition to this, we would like to help clubs attract new members to them, and we have something called the Toastmasters Leadership Week scheduled for the last week of September. And this is something to showcase Toastmasters in East Africa as where leaders are made, where we plan to engage with the communities around us and our cooperation or corporate and organizations for corporate clubs. And the reason we want to do it over just 1 week is to amplify our collective effort to reach the media, to get attention from news stations and radio stations. We encourage you as clubs to think of how You can engage the people around you, the stakeholders around you, and showcase what your club has to offer to those different types of communities and organizations. That Leadership Week will also help us attract leads for new clubs. And this is something else that we track as a district, because we need enough clubs for you to be able to achieve your goal, no matter where you live in your country or your community. So imagine, let me use the example of Nairobi. If you live on Kiambu Road, it's going to be very convenient if there is a club near where you live, so that you come from work, go to the club meeting, and then in a few minutes you are back home. As well, it's going to be very convenient for you if you have a club that is based either at your organization or very close to where you work. Again, you don't need to go through traffic. You can simply walk to the club meeting, and after that, take your commute back home. The more clubs that we have in our district, the more recognition that we are going to receive for our achievement in Toastmasters. So if more organizations in our district have Toastmasters clubs, the more likely it is for your DTM, for your level completion, to mean something to the HRs of those different organizations. And so the club growth is an important goal for us as a district and for clubs. Over the last 2 months, we have chartered 2 clubs, and we need to get to 88 in order to be Smedley distinguished. And that puts us on track with our goal for the month. At the moment, we've chartered a club in Dar es Salaam, which is Kinara Toastmasters, and also in Nairobi metropolitan area. I would like to welcome these clubs to our district. Congratulations to the sponsors and mentors of Kinara Toastmasters Club, and also congratulations to the mentors and sponsors of Juja Toastmasters Club. And something that is going to be particularly important for us as a district over the next 1 year, it results from some changes to the district alignment and club alignment that Toastmasters International has introduced. And so effective from 1st July, a district needs to have at least 100 clubs. In the past, we used to be able to have a district even if you had just 60 clubs. However, those rules are changing. At the moment, we just have 83 clubs as a district, and so we are in a very precarious position. As a district, we need to create a plan on how we can grow to above 100 clubs over the next 1 year, when this change is going to affect us as a district. In addition to that, we also have changes to the number of clubs that are allowed in an area and the number of clubs that are allowed in a division. First of all, going forward from 1st July 2025, an area will need a minimum of 4 clubs. And in addition to this, a division will need a minimum of 4 areas. That means for a division to be viable, it needs to have 16 clubs. And that means over the next 1 year, we need to experience a net growth of at least 39 clubs if we are to have a kind of an alignment that is going to be convenient for our members. We've been hoping that Mombasa and Rwanda become divisions on their own. And if Mombasa is to become a division, we need to charter 10 clubs there. If Rwanda is to become a division, we need to charter 9 clubs. If Division D is to continue to be a division, it needs to add 9 clubs. If Tanzania is to become a division once again, it needs to add 6 clubs. And if Ethiopia is to remain a division, it needs to add 4 clubs. And as well for Division C, it needs to add 1 club. What will happen is that if we are not able to charter the right amount of clubs, some of the divisions will need to be collapsed into one, so that the clubs, the areas, and the division meet that policy requirement. And this will be an ideal point to talk about the alignment policies that affected the Tanzanian club. At the moment, when you look at our dashboard, you'll notice that there is no Division A. And this is because in the past, divisions needed 3 areas. Areas needed 4 clubs. However, even though they needed 4 clubs, it was possible for an area to have 3 clubs if there was a prospective club in the pipeline. In terms of the past club alignment, there were 10 areas that had 3 clubs, and 5 of them had prospective clubs. 9 of the clubs in that alignment were suspended. And so for Tanzania, which had 3 areas, and those 3 areas had 3 clubs, and they included 3 clubs that had been suspended, it put them in a very unstable situation. And so by the time we were supposed to submit our alignment on July 15th, the country only had six clubs that could be included in the alignment. And because of that, it couldn't be a full-fledged division because it just had 2 areas, and the clubs had to be distributed to Division C and to Division G. So what do we hope to do in order to achieve the number of clubs that we've talked about? We are conducting a market analysis to identify opportunities for new clubs. And what we're doing is identifying gaps, organizations that could potentially have Toastmasters clubs, communities that do not have Toastmasters clubs, and pursuing those leads. We would like to make greater use of the Toastmasters lead management system. This is more like a funnel, like a sales funnel of some sort. And so we would like to make better use of it in terms of following up on the leads that we have. And finally, like I talked about, the Leadership Week, we hope to generate interest in our communities, and these will lead to leads for new clubs. Also, we hope to empower the club sponsors and mentors through trainings, as well as we hope to have a closer relationship with them in terms of monitoring the kind of support that is being offered to the new clubs and to the prospective clubs. Finally, the ADs provide a monthly report on the status of the prospective and new clubs so that the district can provide those clubs with support. One of the things that we want to also do is recognize whenever a new club is chartered. So Kinara Toastmasters and Juja Toastmasters are going to receive $25 to buy a cake for their charter party. We are going to do this for the first 25 clubs that are going to be chartered. And finally, I come to the DCP goals, and these represent the kind of progress that our members are making in terms of their education goals. Our members getting value from our education program, and this is what the DCP goals measure. In terms of the DCP goals, as of August, we have a way of determining whether a club is likely to be distinguished by the end of the year. And the goal for August is that the club needs to either have one DCP goal already on the dashboard, and it needs to have at least 20 members. As of August, as of yesterday, 13 clubs met these criteria. For us to be medally distinguished, we need to have 46 clubs which are on track to become distinguished. There are other clubs that, with a bit of support, we believe can reach that target in September. And we have 35 clubs that have at least 20 members, but no goals. And we hope that in these clubs, by highlighting recognition, by helping the officers submit those goals to base camp, these clubs are going to achieve that target. There are 7 clubs that have at least one goal, but however have less than 20 members, and we hope to support these clubs to build up their membership over the next couple of months. At this point, we'd like to recognize the clubs that have made progress in their education goals. We have SmartSpeak, Mtandao, Tamarind, Jupiter and Kampala Sunrise, which have 3 goals. Zumaridi, Bukoto, Ntinda, UBL, Masaki have 2 goals. And K Toastmasters, Rafiki Toastmasters, Magnetic, Sema, Anchored, Karen, Simba, Meru, Mombasa Island, Mombasa Executives, Absa Bank, Uganda, and Trust Toastmasters each have 1 goal. Congratulations to the officers of these clubs on the amazing job that you are doing. Finally, there are certain clubs we feel that need special care over the next couple of months, And these are clubs that have 0 goals and less than 20 members. And the reason that we feel these clubs need special care is that it means if people are not making progress on their pathways, it means that they are unlikely to renew. And it also means it's going to be difficult for these clubs to attract new members to the club that is going to help them grow to above 20 members. And so it puts them at risk of being lost over the next renewal and over the next year becoming suspended. So these clubs, we hope to offer them special care through the division directors and the area directors, as well as there are 4 new clubs that we consider to be new. Those that were the 2 that were chartered this year, and 2 others that were chartered towards the end of last year in June. And also these need special care if they are to be sustained over the next 1 year. What kind of help are we offering? We have Pathways ambassadors who have been assigned to every division to help the clubs create trainers for Pathways. We have an evaluation workshop, which we hope to roll out to every area. And also the all-in member tracker helps us keep track of the activities of our members. Again, we hope that through monthly reports from the area directors and division directors, we'll be able to identify challenges in the clubs as early as possible and clubs that need support, and for us to intervene in those clubs. And that brings me to the end of those 3 major areas that we focus on. In terms of, first of all, we need new members in our clubs in order for the clubs to be vibrant. We need new clubs in as many communities as possible so that it is convenient for you as a member to live wherever you want or work wherever you want, knowing that there's a club nearby and we have that visibility. And finally, we need our members to make progress on their goals in order and get the most out of the education program. And this is measured by the DCP goals. At this point, I will pause and receive any questions that we might have.
Hello, Mr. DT.
Yes.
So going by your presentation on the communication from Toastmasters International,
Right.
it looks like we will no longer be a district if we don't reach the threshold of 100 clubs by next year.
We have 3 years to build up that number of clubs. They are going to start with region 1 to 7 at the moment, and they're going to look at the districts in those regions, and those districts that do not have enough clubs the clubs are going to be distributed to other districts. Our turn is going to come 3 years from now, and so we have 3 years to create a growth plan and prepare ourselves. But like you have inferred, if we have not reached 100 clubs in the next 3 years, there is that possibility of us not being a district. Some of our clubs being moved to other districts that have more clubs in them. That is true. But we have for 3 years at the moment to create a plan and to charter those clubs.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Hello, Robert.
Yes, Melody.
Yes. In the spirit of being all in and bringing in new members, one of the things that members ask when joining Toastmasters is if there are networking opportunities. I usually say yes, but those opportunities are only available within the club. So I'd love to hear from you. What do other clubs do in terms of providing networking opportunities? And as a district, is that something or an event that we can work on?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I think the types of networking events I've seen are at the area level, and often it's at the district conference at the end of the year, where specific areas organize an area social. And I feel that I will agree with you that we need to do more. First of all, in terms of something, I'm currently based in Addis Ababa, and something that happens at Addis Ababa in Ethiopian clubs is that when people are introducing themselves at the beginning of the meeting, they always say their profession. They usually talk about what they do for a living. It's something that I've never seen in clubs in other countries that I have visited. And I think that is something that we as clubs and also at the district level, we can encourage more. Providing those first of all, highlighting the different things that we do at the club members do, and also providing those opportunities at the area and also at the division level. And so my hope is that the area directors are going to organize area socials, and we'll encourage them to focus those area socials on networking, helping people to get to know other professionals in our regions. But I completely agree, it is something that we need to put more effort into.
Thank you.
Hi, Didi.
Hello, Christine.
You mentioned something to do with the lead management system.
Right.
Perhaps the CGD would need to also understand it more.
Right.
Is it something that we currently have? Do they need training on it, or how does it work?
Yeah, absolutely. It's something that is available to the district director and the CGD. Whenever someone tells us about a possibility of a Toastmasters club being chartered where there's interest, what is meant to happen is for us to take that lead, put it into that lead management system, and then regularly see where it is in terms of the progress towards chartering. A challenge is that quite often, a lot of the prospective clubs are usually not included in that, and that affects the handover from one district team to the next. And it also affects the kind of oversight that can be provided, the kind of support that can be provided. And so, like you as an area director, one of the questions that we usually ask in the area director report is to give us an idea of the club charter ideas that you have. And what we hope going forward is to put all of these ideas into the lead management system and offer continuous support every month. So yeah, the CGD is trained on that.
Okay, and that would include the area CGD as well.
Unfortunately, yeah, the area CGD does not have access to it. And
Okay.
that is something that is an important point that you raise. And I think it's something that I need to pursue with the district CGD on how we can, because it's not accessible to the rest of the district,
More about.
My apologies for that.
No, Robert.
Hello, Jared. I hope I had answered, before I fell off, I had answered Christine's question.
Yeah, I thought you were not going to come back again, but thank you. Now, Robert, if we look at you now, vis-a-vis who you were when you're 6 years old,
Right.
is the quantity of food that you eat now the same as what you ate when you were 6 years old?
No, absolutely not.
Yes, and the reason I'm asking that question is because when we were just one club in when Kwanzaa was 22 years old, I remember that's when I was president, we were given the same rebate that we have now. We are a bigger team of close to 90, and we're being given the same rebate.
Right.
So I don't know if you've asked that question, if we can have a bigger percentage of rebate. For that reason, the reason I'm saying this is because for us to sustain these clubs that we have within the area division and district, all these clubs take care of their own, expenditure when it comes to meeting rooms, TVs, and everything.
Right.
And I don't think it is fair for the TMI to expect us to grow and sustain clubs and grow to a bigger level if they're not inputting. So if I plant something and I don't fertilize it, then I expect it to grow. It's not going to grow. So that is what we need to sell and ask them to give us more. And then number two, it's been many years and they finished the circulation of holding global conferences. Now they're going back to Philadelphia again, where it was started. When are we going to have one in Africa? And now that we have an African global president, can we say and tell them, get all the district and say, we want it in 2026 because we know it is going to Philadelphia. So those two, we need to really wring their necks to give us more percentage so that we can sustain all these clubs. Back to you.
Absolutely. Yeah, I do agree that it does take quite a lot of funds to sustainably run a district. As of this year, we are receiving about $51,000 $51,000 to run the district affairs, and you'll find that club like the West African district and the South African districts, which are quite large, they receive quite a significantly higher amount, and definitely it's a conversation to have with HQ, and also something that on our part to make better use of the revenue that we receive and direct more of it towards education, towards the training of the officers, to help us grow as a district. June?
Thank you, Didi, Robert, and Jared. It's nice to hear your views and nice to hear you talk again. What I wanted to comment on is say thank you to Jared for bringing up the issues he brought up. And my issue is on funds. Yes, we are very strained on funds. There's some clubs that do have funds and there's some clubs that don't have funds. Last weekend, we had an open house for Magnetic, and each member contributed for the snacks and everything. We found a venue that did not charge for the room. but it's something that's actually quite serious. And what I have agreed with, I agree with what Jared is saying. Yes, clubs can find various ways of raising funds, even if it's having an open house, having a social, having a raffle draw or anything. But yes, Division D104 does need funds, but each club needs to find out very unique ways of raising money. So I don't think that's a problem. And Robert, thank you so much for this session. I've enjoyed it, and I've shared it with Division B, and I've shared it with the Exco of Magnetic. Back to you, Didi Robert.
Thank you so much. Yeah, absolutely. There are ways for the clubs to raise funds for their activities. And yeah, something that I'm particularly proud of is that by the time I was done being president, we had a crazy 300,000 in our bank accounts. And that came from the fact that we were not willing. We asked members to donate things for everything at the club. Whenever we wanted to have a cake, we would ask a member of the club to donate the cake instead of getting it from the club funds. And that allowed us to buy a lot of ribbons, a lot of pins for the club members and enhance the experience at the club. And so that is something that we can encourage the clubs, even as you are bringing in new members. Those are going to help you raise the funds, and also being careful about the exact things that you're spending the funds on. Before I come back to you, June, Zinzi?
What I want to comment on is we've decided to monetize our Toastmaster experience. And like you're saying, all of us within Toastmasters has our special ability or our job. So whatever job we're in or whatever we're doing, we can actually monetize speaking, organizing socials, organizing open houses. So that also raises money. It gives you as a person a way forward to build your business. And within Toastmasters, we all have our special areas. Like Robert said, yes, I'm a baker, so I bring in the cake. Or I'm somebody who has a venue, I give the venue free for Toastmasters event. So I just wanted to enhance that and make sure that we have all heard, you're a baker, you have a venue, bring it to Toastmasters and we'll grow your business. Back to you, Didi Robert.
Thank you so much, Joan, for that.
Robert, please allow me to say this very quickly. We meet at United Kenya Club, and one of the things that I did when I got back was to find that the room charges went up to close to 10,000 shillings. That's 8,000 something. Then you have to buy a few drinks, which takes it closer there. But what I did was to go and meet the board, and I sold an idea to them about how to bring that for us. Can you imagine, to 3,000 shillings? And they agreed. So we can save a lot of money if we go and talk to them and look at some of the programs that we are sharing with them, like the Speakers Forum. That is what has let that be. So anybody else who is meeting somewhere else and you want to come and meet there by paying just 3,000 shillings, you can move your meeting over there. I think there are 3 more slots, 3 more days that are left. Back to you.
Thank you so much for that. Excellent. I think, we have 5 minutes to go, and I'll bring our session to a close. Some of the things that we hope to help our leaders grow at the area, the division, and also the club level is something that we've been doing at the district level, which is 60 minutes with the district director every Friday. And we hope to open that to the presidents and to the officers. If you have any questions, you can just register for one of those Zoom sessions and come if you are willing. You also have the leadership talks that I've been doing. They're aimed at focusing on specific areas of leadership that draws our focus onto those areas of leadership and how we can grow and make our work easier as leaders in the club, and also grow us as leaders, as individuals. And so look out for those. on our YouTube page and also being distributed every week. I think the thing that makes you get to the point where you go from good to great is your values. You cannot be inconsistent and become a great public speaker or a great leader. You cannot fail to have a spirit of excellence and be able to reach that point. You need extremely strong values for you to achieve your goals and your ambitions. And my closing remark is to encourage us to focus on our values as Toastmasters, because those are the ones that make us great. We usually like to use them as a rise to help us remember, but I prefer for us to leave them in the order that they are, because it means that there is a set of priorities. Because you cannot be excellent if you do not have the value of service, and you cannot have the value of service if you do not have respect, and you cannot have respect if you do not have integrity. Integrity comes first, respect second, service third, then you find that you can have a strong value of excellence. And in your public speaking, in your membership, in your leadership as a club leader, in your leadership as a district officer, keep asking yourself, am I exemplifying these values? Am I all in for my values? And remember, we as a district are all in for you as our members. We are giving our 100% to help you grow as individuals, as public speakers, and as leaders. Have a good night. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me if you have my contact, or to any of the area directors and division directors, and they'll direct you to me. Have a good night, and thank you so much for making the time.
Good night, Didi. Robert, thank you so much for this session. It was fantastic. Good night, everybody.
Thank you. Good night.
Thank you and good night.
Good night. Thank you, Didi. Good night.